Hey everybody, I'm back for more Black Sonata by John Keane. I can't stop playing this game. I just love it. So last time, if you recall, we played through a very simple, basic sequence number 1. And I promised that by next video we would go with something a little bit tougher. So this time we're going to jump up to sequence 5, which introduces the possibility that the Dark Lady may not move every turn. She may stay where she is, which opens up a whole nother suite of possibilities at any point in time as to where she might be. So it's going to make the game a lot more difficult. I'll also, I can turn on reverse sequences as well. That way, she may be going forward in the series or backwards. We don't know. But if you were playing the game with the components, you would take the stack of stealth cards. You would look in position number 5, which would be the bottom left-hand corner, and you would sort the stealth cards either A to Z or Z to A. You then cut them any number of times, and my program will do that for me. And then finally, you put the countdown card on the bottom of the deck, and you go for it. When I usually do these videos, I always complain, and I find, truthfully, that because I'm talking so much, I'm not playing as well as I usually am. But I found that's for this game, when I did my last video, after I finished, I thought to myself, gee, the talking really helps, because it made me go through all the possibilities of, is she here or is she there? Should I move there? Should I take a chance and search for her here? You know, talking it out helped me a lot. So, and that's different from every other video I usually record where the talking just distracts me. So, finally, I have a game that actually services the way I do these videos. And then that led me to another thought. All along, I've been thinking, I've been just assuming this is a memory game, that you have to just kind of keep track of where the dark lady is at any one point in time, and hope that you remember correctly. You know, that's basically what I did in my last video. Now it's going to get a lot more difficult, and it occurred to me the rules really don't say that it's a memory game, and frankly, most rule books say, you know, unless you're explicitly playing a memory game, most rule books say, hey, you do whatever you want, because you're not relying on your memory, you're relying on your logic. And then I thought, well, thematically in this game, you're an investigator, you're after the Dark Lady, why wouldn't you take notes? So, okay, then I thought to myself, well, if I was going to take notes, what kind of notes would I take? And obviously there'd be notes like, okay, the Dark Lady might be here, or she might be there, or now I know at this point in time she's definitely here. I might note that I searched for her and found her, things like that. And that led me to make changes to my program because I didn't want to have to keep manual notes. I'll let my program keep track of where the program thinks she is at any point in time, and then I can use my intelligence to, if you will, if I have any, to try to enhance that and rule out possibilities. So that's what I'm going to try today. And in the meantime, I have written to John Keane, the designer, and I did ask him. I said, John, is this supposed to be a memory game? Because I think, shouldn't you be able to take notes and just then rely on your logic? I haven't gotten a response yet. So for now, I'm going to give myself the advantage of taking notes because I don't have a good memory anyway. So I don't want to have to rely on my memory, especially when we're making the game more difficult. Anyway, rightly or wrongly, let's see how the game plays when you take notes along the way, and you'll you'll see the kind of notes I think are valuable if you're going to play that way. Of course, you play the game any way you want. If you think it's a memory game, play it like a memory game. I think it's more interesting if you have your notes in front of you and you can just wrestle with your thoughts and try to apply logic to figure out where you think the Dark Lady is at any point in time. And then, of course, you use your logic anyway for the other half of the game, the deduction of what her characteristics, what her traits are. So anyway, that's the way I'm going to play this today. I think we're ready to go. Okay. So I have to choose an initial location. Last time I chose Cornhill because it's sort of in the middle of the map, kind of. At least it's in a central position because it's allowing me to move east, move west, move north, kind of move south. So I'm just going to go with Cornhill again. All right, so the Dark Lady is starting in a church, which means she could be in Clerkenwell, St. Paul's, Bishopsgate, or Southwark. And now if I kind of show you what I've done here, I'm keeping notes that tell me, okay, in the first step of the game, at the start of the game, she's in one of these 4 locations. Okay, we're ready to start. Here we go. So she moves from a church to a boat, to a location by the river, which now puts her at Blackfriars, Liberty of the Clink, or London Bridge. Can I rule? I guess too many possibilities. I really can't rule anything out just yet. I think I put Bishopsgate. Well, wait a minute. Bishopsgate can't get to any of these locations. Bishopsgate's too far away, so we can rule out Bishopsgate as a possibility in the first step. All right, so I think this is where we stand right now. Should I move? Well, it looks like she's more likely than not. She's in the southern part of the board. So, yeah, I'm going to move to Eastcheap. And again, I apologize to all my British friends if I'm pronouncing these locations incorrectly. But it looks like Eastcheap. Okay, where's she going to go next? She goes to a tavern. So now she's either in Eastcheap or Southwark. Eastcheap or Southwark, which means she could never have been in Blackfriars. She could have been in Liberty of the Clink or London Bridge. But Clerkenwell, I think Clerkenwell is now ruled out because she couldn't have gotten from Clerkenwell to the Clink or London Bridge. So we can rule out Clerkenwell back in this step. St. Paul's can't get to the Liberty of the Clink or London Bridge. So I think she started in Southwark, then went to Liberty of the Clink or London Bridge. And if she went to Liberty of the Clink, she came back to Southwark, or if she went to London Bridge, she went to Eastcheap. So right now I have a 50-50 shot at searching for her in Eastcheap. And I don't have any clue cards, so the damage is not going to be too great, other than for the fact that I'm going to spend one of my 10 possible searches. If you recall, every time you search, you place a fog card in the deck to take the place of the card you use to search. And when you run out of fog cards, you've lost the game. So effectively, I've got 10 searches. So yeah, I'm going to go for it. Let's see if we can find her in Eastcheap. Oh, we do not. Well, not a good start. But at least it does give us some information. It tells us that she's definitely in Southwark. So I'm going to go back here. And, okay, so my program did that for me. It said, okay, you didn't find her in Eastcheap. The only other location was Southwark. And it puts question marks around it to indicate that I searched at that time, but didn't find her in where I was looking. I should have been looking in Southwark, but I was searching in Eastcheap. So we know for a fact that the Dark Lady right now is in Southwark, which doesn't help us here. All we know is she went from Southwark to the Liberty of the Clink or London Bridge and back to Southwark again. All right, where's she going to go next? She goes to the commercial area, which means she goes back to London Bridge. All right, this is all very likely. So she started in Southwark, went to Liberty of the Clink or London Bridge, came back to Southwark, and now she's in London Bridge. So actually, I'm in a pretty good position. Either she's going to come to me in Eastcheap, or she's going to go south again, or she's just going to stay in London Bridge. Until I know what she does, I don't think I'm going to move here, so I'm just going to pass, and we'll see what she does. Okay, she's gone to a tavern, so now we're back at the sort of at the beginning of the game again. Oh crap. Do I search again and possibly blow it? This might be... I may end this game pretty quickly if I keep doing searches. Oh, man. But you know what? I don't know what else to do here. If I don't take some chances, I think I have to take another shot at this. I just hate failed searches. Here we go. Hopefully, yes, okay. Whoa, all right, we found her. She was definitely in Eastcheap, and we got our first clue. Well, unfortunately, that doesn't tell us very much. I like clues where you get a number 2 at the bottom. Where the match is that you know for a fact that 2 of the symbols are right. Those are the best clues. Anyway, we're moving on to the next turn, and where's she going to go? She goes to Cripplegate or Bishopsgate because she went to a Shakespeare residence, which she couldn't get to from London Bridge. So that means I can rule out London Bridge. She was not in London Bridge. She was definitely in Cornhill here. And now she's in Bishopsgate or Cripplegate. Okay, so this is pretty good. I mean, she's been in 7 locations so far, and I know 5 of them. I've narrowed 5 of them down, which is going to help me when we come back around the second time. So that's good. That's good information to have. She's moving north again. I think I'm going to move to Cornhill and follow her. Hopefully she doesn't backtrack to Eastcheap. Yeah, let's go to Cornhill. And where does she go next? She went to a theater, which means she went to Shoreditch, because the only theater you could get to in one step from these 2 locations is Shoreditch. So we know she's in Shoreditch right now. That's valuable information. So now I can move to either of these locations and possibly intercept her on the next move. Question is, do I think she's going to go this way or that way? I don't know. And she's either going to pull a church, we're going to see a church card or a house card next. So if I go to Cripplegate, it's going to be a 50-50 search, because I won't know if she's in either of these 2 locations. So I'm tempted to go to Bishopsgate. I've got to keep this moving along. I don't know. Let's just go to Cripplegate. That could have been a mistake. All right, here we go. She goes to Shakespeare's house again. All right, which here we are. So she's here or here. Do I take another chance on a search? I think I'm going to go for it. Again, with only 1 clue, I'm wasting a fog card, but with only 1 clue, she's not going to jump ahead very far if I'm wrong. And I think I would still be able to do, yeah, let's go for it. Oh, great. Okay, we found her. Whoa, 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 whoa. That was important. Okay, so now she's moved by 2 locations to a theater. All right, let's take a look at this. So I found her in Cripplegate, but we know now that she's in Blackfriars or Shoreditch, and the only way to get from Cripplegate to Blackfriars in one step would be that she would have to go to St. Paul's. But she also could have gone from Cripplegate and stayed in Cripplegate and then went to Shoreditch. Or she could have gone from Cripplegate to Shoreditch and then stayed in Shoreditch. Oh, she could have gone from Cripplegate to Clerkenwell. That's a possibility too. And then went to Blackfriars. So this is a big question mark here. One of 4 possible locations. I'd like to narrow that down at some point, but it's not going to be right now. All right. In the meantime, what do I do? Well, right now I don't do anything because I just searched for her, so I have to pass. She is now in a church. I just don't know where she is right now. She could be on either side of the board. I think I have to pass and see where she goes next. And hopefully she'll narrow it down to one particular location. Or she'll narrow it down. We'll narrow it down to 3 possible locations. Oh, and she's back. She could be back in Cripplegate again, but I don't like. I never search unless I'm desperate. I don't like searching with 33% odds. I'm gonna pass and just wait her out. She goes to a church. Oh man, I can't search for her. Obviously, she's not where I am, so we're gonna pass again. Okay, I love when she goes to a rural area because it really narrows it down. Because there are only 2 rural areas in the map. So let me go back to my notes. She's in Clerkenwell or Shoreditch right now. She couldn't have been in St. Paul's. She can't get from St. Paul's to Clerkenwell or Shoreditch, so I can rule out St. Paul's here. Thinking with this. All right, so this is what I know so far. I think I'm just going to pass again. Okay, yeah. Okay, she goes to a riverside location, which means the only place she could have gone to was Blackfriars. That's great information. That means we know she wasn't in Shoreditch. She was in Clerkenwell. And we know here she wasn't in Bishopsgate. So we know she went to Clerkenwell and stayed there. Is this logic right? Yeah, she couldn't have gotten from Bishopsgate to Clerkenwell in one step. So I'm going to take that off. And then here, she couldn't have been in Bishopsgate. She could have been in Blackfriars to get to Clerkenwell. She could have been in Cripplegate to get to Clerkenwell. All right, so we know for a fact that she stayed in Clerkenwell overnight. So first time we've seen a situation where the Dark Lady has not moved. If she goes to St. Paul's, she might come back to Cripplegate. Where if she goes to Liberty the Clink, I could go to Cornhill and maybe meet her over here somewhere. I'm going to stay put and pass, and she goes back to a rural area, back to Clerkenwell. She loves Clerkenwell. That's the 3rd time she went there. Okay, well, I'm going to stay put again. Oof. Oh man, here we go again. So do I do a 50-50 shot at Cripplegate? I hate these 50-50 searches. I've got 7 fog cards left, because I did 2 successful searches and 1 failed search so far. Kind of tempted to go for it. I may regret this, but okay. We got our 3rd clue. And now she's in a commercial area in Cornhill or London Bridge. All right, let's see. So she went from Cripplegate, where we just searched, somewhere, and then ended up in Cornhill or London Bridge. So she could have stayed. She could have stayed in Cripplegate and stayed in Cripplegate again, and then went to Cornhill. She could have gone from Cripplegate to St. Paul's, and then from St. Paul's, she could have stayed in St. Paul's, and then gone to Cornhill, or she might have gone to Cornhill, and then stayed in Cornhill. Of course, if she's in London Bridge, it meant that she went from Cripplegate to Cornhill, and then from Cornhill she went to Eastcheap. Oh boy. And then from Eastcheap she went to London Bridge. Oh man, I have too many choices here. Okay, well clearly I have to move. I think I have to move now because she's south of me. So I think the obvious thing to do here is go to Cornhill. No, I just searched. I got pass. I keep forgetting when you search, you don't get another turn. You gotta wait until you flip one more card. So she is now back at a house. She's back in Cripplegate or Bishopsgate, which rules out London Bridge. So she was never in London Bridge. And if she wasn't in London Bridge, if she was in Cornhill here, Cripplegate is valid, St. Paul's is valid, Cornhill is valid, Eastcheap is valid. All right, so that's really the only thing I rule out. And now I'm going to do another search. But, where are we? We've seen 21 cards of 20. Well, we've seen 22 cards because I started 0. Yeah, I started index 0. So we've seen 22 of her 26 cards, and she's going to have to end up in Southwark. So while she could be in Cripplegate, she would then have to go to Cornhill, Eastcheap, London Bridge, Southwark. I am not going to search. I'm going to go to Cornhill. Because I know she has to go through this passageway to get back to Southwark. Well, 1, 2, 3, 4. No, she could go this way to get back to Southwark if she's in Cripplegate. But if she's in Bishopsgate, she'd have to go this way. I'm going to go to Cornhill. Either way, I'm heading for Southwark. Oh, wait a minute. No, I haven't searched here yet, so I can definitely catch her in Southwark. I can't catch her here in Southwark because this is when I already searched, and I can't search again at this point in time. This is when I searched for her in Eastcheap. But I could possibly catch her in London Bridge. All right, she goes to a tavern, so she's definitely in Eastcheap. Okay, that means she's not going this way. So she could not have been in Bishopsgate. No, she could. I'm sorry, she could not have been in Cripplegate. She had to have gone to Bishopsgate here to get to Eastcheap. So now I know that she's headed this way to get to Southwark. So I'm moving to Eastcheap. And if my theory is correct, she's going to London Bridge next. Oh. It's in a church, and the only church is Bishopsgate. Is she going to be able to make it back? All right. She's only got 2 more cards. Okay, 2 more cards to get to Southwark. We're on card number 24 right now. So this would be card 25. This would be card 26. So she's going to go to Eastcheap, London Bridge, and Southwark to get back to Southwark. And this is where, and so if I'm at card 24, 25, 26, right here is where the countdown card's going to be. But I think I'm going to catch her right now in Eastcheap. It's the only way she can get back to Southwark. So this will be nice. Yep. Okay. All right. So we got a one of those nice 100% probability searches. They're the best. Here we go. Give me a good clue. There she is. I got another number 1 clue. And there's the countdown card. And I've come back to where I searched. All right, so let's fill in the gaps here. So she was in Bishopsgate. I searched for her in Eastcheap. She had to go to London Bridge here to get, and then we saw the countdown card. Well, how many clues we have now? 4 clues. So we flipped Eastcheap, London Bridge. You don't count the countdown. We flipped Southwark and the Clink, or the London Bridge, one of those. And now we're back here where we already did our search. This is where we searched in Eastcheap, but she's not in Eastcheap right now. I know for a fact she's in Southwark. Well, in the meantime, I'm going to tell it that I think she's in Southwark right now. Which means she's going to London Bridge, but I can't move now. So I'm just, okay, I've got to evaluate our clues here. Let's take a look here. So, in the last time I was using just typing notes, but now I've set up this little grid to help me come up with all my possibilities. So, based on this card, if there's 0 or 2 matches, one theory is that it's a note and a ring. Sorry for all the artifacts. My video program doesn't clean up when I do a click and drag. But it wouldn't be the rattle. So it's either the note and the ring, not the rattle, or it's the note and the rattle, but not the ring, or it's the ring and the rattle. Oh, this is a mess. I'm making a mess of my screen here. Although I'm seeing junk all over my screen. Maybe I don't know if the video is picking it up. Maybe it is. It wouldn't be the note in this case. But one possibility is that it's not any of those. Not the note, not the ring, and not the rattle. Okay. Can I do a refresh here? So based on, I've got 4 possible theories. So let's go back to this card. If this theory is correct and it's a note or a ring, that card doesn't help us. This card, however, would say that it was the note. I'm sorry, the ring, and therefore it wouldn't be the link or the crown if this were correct. So if this were correct, it's not the link and it's not the crown. And then this card tells me it would be the, oh, wait a minute. Ring and note, it can't be, there's only one match. This is not a possibility. I can rule this out, because that would violate the evidence from this card. So that theory goes away. So let's test note and rattle. I know this is probably boring to watch, but this is the kind of logic you have to go through in order to work this out. So here, if it's a note or a rattle, again, this card doesn't help us. This card doesn't help us. But here's a note which would suggest it's not the inkwell and not the ring. We already know it's not the ring. We could rule out the inkwell, which means that it's the heart or the crown. And here, it's the crown or the link. I don't think we can figure out, oh, wait a minute, we know it's not the inkwell. All right, so that's all we can do with this one. What if it's the ring and the rattle? Again, this card doesn't help us, because it could be any one of those. Here it would have to be the ring, and therefore it's not the link or the crown. And here, it's the ring and not the note or the inkwell. Okay, so if it's not the inkwell, that means the only thing left is the heart. So we have a possible match here. Now this theory says it's not any of these. That's if this is zero. If this zero is accurate, and it's none of these. In that case, again, this card doesn't help us. It can't be the ring, but it could be the link or the crown, and therefore it could be the crown up here. Over here, it couldn't be the ring or the note. Okay, this is valuable information. If it can't be the note and the ring, it has to be the inkwell. So that puts the inkwell in this column. If it's the inkwell, it's not the crown or the heart, but that wouldn't leave enough things it could be. So this is ruled out. That means on this card there are two matches. That's good to know. Okay, and the matches are ring and rattle, or note and rattle. So right now we know, let me clean up this garbage again. We know for a fact that rattle is one of the clues. But that's about all we know right now. Okay, let's get back to the game. Where am I? I just searched for, and she moved by 4 cards. So I searched for an East cheat. She moved to London Bridge. We encountered the countdown card, and then she moved to Southwark, the Clink, and here she is in Southwark. Okay. Well, Southwark, the Clink, or London Bridge, I still don't know where she is at this step. But right now we know for a fact she's in Southwark, and she's going to go to London Bridge. But I searched, I can't move right again. But she's going to come back to Eastcheap? Oh, but I already searched in Eastcheap. Next best bet is to catch her in Cornhill. I haven't searched there yet. Okay, so on my next move, I'm going to go to Cornhill. She goes to London Bridge. I know for a fact she's not in Cornhill. I'm going to Cornhill. I hope I'm working this out right. Ugh. So she went from Southwark to London Bridge. Then from London Bridge, she's going to go to Eastcheap, where I search, and then from Eastcheap, she's going to go to Cornhill. This is where I want to be. I'm going to search for her when she gets here. So she's going to go to a tavern now. Okay, there's the fog card, but I know she's in Eastcheap, so I'm going to make a note of it. And now she's going to go to Cornhill. This is where you really have to, you can't make a mistake anywhere in your thought process. Otherwise, you can really screw yourself up. And if you make one mistake, it cascades and turns into a whole mess. So I am trying to really work this out in my brain, which I suppose for viewers, unless you really want to understand exactly how you succeed in this game, it's probably boring to just watch me think. But I'm trying to keep talking to at least make it semi-interesting. I've only looked in 3 locations so far. All right, so she's going to come to Cornhill. All right. She's in Cornhill right now, according to... There's a bug in my program. Why is it doing that? Shouldn't be erasing my previous entries. So she's definitely in Cornhill. And we get another 02 clue. Oh, now she could be anywhere. But if she's... So she moved by 5 steps. I just searched in Cornhill, found her. Then she moved here, here. Well, we flipped this card, this card, this card, this card, and this card. And now we're at the theater card. So she's at this step in the sequence. Which means she's not at Liberty the Clink. She's either at Blackfriars or Shoreditch. And she's going to go to one of these 3 places next. So my next best bet is to meet her in Clerkenwell. If it's a ring and a heart, it could be a ring and a heart based on this. Ring and an inkwell. It can't be a ring and an inkwell, according to what I have so far. Because, yeah, here there's only one match, and there's both a ring and an inkwell. So it's not ring and inkwell, and it's not heart and inkwell, because there's only one match here, and it can't be both heart and inkwell. The other possibility is it's none of these, which would mean that if it's not the ring and the inkwell, it's also not the heart over here. So does that help me here? If there's one match here, it can't be the heart, it can't be the inkwell. That means it's the crown, I think. Here, if there's 2 matches, it could be the note and the rattle. Note and the rattle. Here, one match could be the crown. So we know that would rule out the link. Here, one match would be the note. And here, that's where we started. So it's one of these 2 possibilities. But I don't like guessing at the end of the game. I like having the necessary evidence to definitely prove who she is. I'm not big on score here. Honestly, it all depends upon the order of the clue cards you get. You could get great clue cards that narrow it down real quickly and give you a high score, or bad clue cards that make it take a while before you can figure it out and give you a low score. So I don't think the score really matters much in this game. It doesn't really have too much value to... Yes. Alright, so it stopped deleting my entries at least. Alright. So what did I say? I wanted to search for her in Clerkenwell? Yeah, because I know she's going to be in Clerkenwell in 2 steps, and I can get there. So we're going to go from Cornhill to Cripplegate. And now, on this turn, she is going to be in Blackfriars or Cripplegate, according to my logic. Blackfriars or Cripplegate, which means she can't be in Bishopsgate right now. So I can rule out Bishopsgate. Alright, so next she is going to go back around here. She's in Cripplegate or Blackfriars now. About to go to Clerkenwell. I'm going to go to Clerkenwell first, and hopefully that'll give us the clue we need to lock her down. So here she is in Clerkenwell. We know she's not in St. Paul's. We are going to do a search, and we do find her in Clerkenwell as I expected, and we get... This clue doesn't help us at all. Because we know she either has a note or a heart. This is a worthless clue. Damn. So it means we got to keep going. Alright, and where is she right now? She's down here. We searched in Clerkenwell. She went 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and now she's at a house in Cripplegate, St. Paul's, Cornhill, or Eastcheap. Over here it thinks, I think we must have ruled out Liberty. Oh yeah, we ruled out Liberty the Clink, because she's going to be in Cornhill next. So if she's going to be in Cornhill next, she's not at Liberty the Clink now, and Cripplegate can't get to Cornhill. Oh yes it can. St. Paul's can get to Cornhill, Cornhill can get to Cornhill, Eastcheap can get to Cornhill, but I don't think she's in Eastcheap. Because she was in, well, she could be. I have to pass because I just searched. Okay, she's definitely in Cornhill. So she could have been in Cripplegate, she could have been in St. Paul, she could have been in Cornhill, she could have been in Eastcheap. So where am I going to meet her next? Can I get to Bishopsgate? Because I've got 3 turns to get there, and I can get there. So I'm going to go to Cripplegate now. And next, she is going to Bishopsgate, according to my notes. Okay, so right now I don't think she's in Cripplegate. I think she's in Bishopsgate. And next, I think she's going to Eastcheap. So I'm going to Shoreditch or Cornhill because I want to get to Bishopsgate. So I think she's going to Eastcheap next. Yes. Now she's going to be coming back to Bishopsgate, but I'm going to get there first. So we've got another good solid search about to happen. Hopefully that will give us what we need. Okay, so this should be a guaranteed search. Yep. Oh, great. We got a 2. Okay, and we just came back around to the top of the deck. This is our last time through the deck. Okay, but I think this is what's going to knock it down. These are the clues you really want to get, the ones where there are 2 matches. Because this tells me, you can lock that on the screen, that it could be heart and rattle. But here, oh wait, it could be rattle and crown. I can't believe I haven't figured it out after 7 clues. Have I made a mistake? Alright, so I just searched. I came up to a fog card, but we flipped 7 cards. So where are we? I just searched in Bishopsgate. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Right now she is in Eastcheap, not in Bishopsgate. She is about to go to Cornhill. But I've already searched there. Then she's going to be in Bishopsgate or Cripplegate. I could do a 50-50 search in Bishopsgate, or I could go to Shoreditch and get a guaranteed search. So I think I'm going to Shoreditch. Alright, so I'm going to Shoreditch. Right now, she is in Bishopsgate or Cripplegate. She's not in either of these locations. She is about to go to Shoreditch, according to my notes. Am I going to run out of cards? I think I'm going to run out of cards. I may have to do a... Hang on a second. Because I don't want to lose the game. If I do a search in Shoreditch right now, and it's going to be a match, she's going to jump ahead 2, 4, 6, 7 cards. 8 cards. She's going to jump ahead 8 cards. So that's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. If that clue, and then she's going to be here, if that clue gives me what I need, you know what, let me pull the rules up for a second, and maybe it'll make sense now. Okay, confronting the Dark Lady. To confront the Dark Lady, you must have identified all 3 of her characteristics and indicated these by placing the relevant tokens on the bottom left of the game board. Then you must successfully search for her in your current location. Which tells me that I can't search, then identify the 3 characteristics, and then confront her. That's what my program does. My program assumes that this is all correct. Why wouldn't it be? But I'm kind of doubting myself. But according to the way these rules are written, you have to already have identified what her traits are. Which means I can't use the information from this search to confront her. I have to do a search and another search. Which means 2 successful searches. Okay, so if I search in Shoreditch, and then she flips 8 cards, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, and then she's in Blackfriars. I search in Shoreditch, I get an 8th clue, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, and she's in Blackfriars. Then on the next turn, she's in Clerkenwell, and my best bet to catch her would be in Cripplegate. I'm not going to have enough cards. I'm going to run out of cards before I can confront her, because the countdown card's going to get revealed and it's going to be all over. I think I have to take a shot at this, otherwise I'm going to lose. Well, you know what? I'm going to flip a coin. I got a coin here. Is it on heads? It is. It's going to be note, rattle, crown. Tails, it's going to be ring, rattle, heart. Here we go. Heads or tails? It is heads. Okay. All right. So what did we say? If it's heads, then I'm assuming it's note, rattle, crown. Note, rattle, crown. Okay, so now that she's in Shoreditch, I'm either going to win or lose right here. I'll know as soon as I get my clue whether I blew it or not. This is a guaranteed search. There she is. I hope the clue better narrow it down. The clue doesn't narrow it down. It's a rattle or a rattle. I got to confront her, and I'm either right or wrong. This is it, folks. It is. Oh, the flip of the coin did it for me. It's the order of the clue cards that makes all the difference. And here was a situation where, unless I made a mistake, I had to just make a guess, because it was either that or lose. And I got lucky, and I made the right guess. Still, this was a fun search. And so I can't imagine doing as well, if you call what I just did well. I can't imagine doing it that well and not have taken notes. Would never have been able to figure out where she was going. There's just too many possibilities to memorize. So I'm anxious to hear what John has to say about this, as to whether or not he thinks taking notes is a valid way to play the game. If you want to try and play this game with one of the harder sequences and try to memorize the path, go for it. But I just don't have the head for it. But anyway, this was fun. So the next thing that's going to happen, from what I understand, is that John is tweaking the rules. She is going to release a new print and play where he adds a 12th Dark Lady, and he changes the number of suits from 5 to 6. So maybe I'll do another video demonstrating the new tweaked rules of Black Sonata. For now, I'm signing off. Thanks for watching, everybody. Bye for now.